discussing the Bible for some time now, and we've looked at the origin of the Bible. We've looked at the book of Genesis. We've looked at the book of Exodus. Today we shall be looking at the book of Leviticus. The book of Leviticus is seen as the book which states the laws, the regulation given to the children of Israel for them to live an holy life, for them to live a faithful life, how they are to conduct themselves morally, unlike other nations, how their priests are to conduct themselves in an holy way, simply because they are an intermediary between God and the people, and they take the message from the people back to God. The book of Leviticus tells us about the children of Aaron died. They offered a strange fire to God, and simply because that is not what God needed, God punished them for it. The book of Leviticus tells us about different sacrifices, different offerings. Now, the first section of sacrifices, two of them out of this section are sacrifices of thanksgiving, thanking God for what God has done for them, thanking God for making it possible for them to be where they are. Now, these people, these children of Israel we are talking about, they offer the grain offering and the fellowship offering, which is seen as the offerings of thanksgiving. Still in this section, there are other three offerings, which talks about the I'm sorry offering. They are sorry for their sins. They are sorry for what they have done. And these are the offering of the burnt offering, the purification offering, and the restitution offering. They are all seen in the book of Leviticus. The book of Leviticus also talks about some other series of offering, annual offering, 7 years offering. These offerings are seen as the Pentecost offering, the tabernacle offering, Day of Atonement, first fruits, and some other offerings. Don't forget that the offering of the Passover, the sacrifice of Passover, is still there. The Passover just reminds the children of Israel of how God led them right from Egypt down to Canaan land. How God saved them from the death of every firstborn. Now, the book of Leviticus also tells us about how the Levites are to behave, how they are to put themselves, how they are to conduct themselves, how they are to remain holy so that they can go into the temple holy. After the death of the sons of Aaron, tells us about God's commandment for the Levites that they must not take strong drink or intoxicating drink when going into the temple, so that they will not pass wrong judgment. They will not do any mistake that will take their life, just like Nadab and Abihu. The book of Leviticus tells us about how an unfaithful Israel were called back to God's faithfulness. God gave them laws, God gave them rules, but now they are to live a moral life, unlike other nations. If you have been thinking about the book of Leviticus of not being important, today I'm telling you that the book is very important. You can learn about how God told them to live their life, about things that they are not expected to eat, about things that will make them impure. For the Levites, there were things they are not supposed to touch. If not, they will be unclean for some days. They are not expected to touch dead bodies. They are not expected to eat meat like pig and the rest, because these things are simply just things that will make them unclean. Remember, the book of Leviticus started with Moses telling the children of Israel to return back to what God has said, to return back to the covenants they made with God. The book of Leviticus shows us of how holy God is. When they say God is holy, it simply means that God has separated himself from other gods, and God wants the children of Israel to be holy. He wants them to separate themselves from other people. The book of Leviticus has 27 chapters, 859 verses, and 24,000 words in some Bible translations. My viewers, Leviticus makes it clear that unfaithful people can return back to the faithful God. Even in the unfaithfulness of Israel, God still makes ways for them to return back to him. Next, we'll be looking at the book of Numbers. If you have learned something today, press the like button, comment. God bless you for listening.